Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download.
Today we're talking about crypto scams. Our WRAL senior investigative producer, Randall Kerr, sits down and we break it down. Here's that conversation. Randall, thank you for taking some time out here. If you guys don't know, this is our senior investigative producer. He's always has the facts. He's doing tons of research behind the scenes. Today we're talking about crypto scams. Beyond all the commercials, beyond all the warning signs, beyond everything that people are told not to do with crypto, they're still getting scammed. What's going on with the population?
Well, the first thing is I don't want to scam the audience. You know why I'm the senior investigative producer?
Why?
Because I'm the only investigative producer.
Oh, okay. All right.
See, I'm going to be upfront about this.
I'm trying to give you some love here.
I hear you.
You've been
I
here
appreciate
for a
it.
long time,
I appreciate
though.
it.
You've done a lot of good work. So, again, if you guys don't know, this is the man behind the scenes, and he's pulling out a lot of these facts and numbers that we lead our newscast with as well. So a little bit behind the scenes, how WRAL works. But crypto scams, what do we got today?
Yeah, so there's new data out from Department of Justice, the FBI. And look, I mean, for years we've heard the warnings. If you're at work, you get videos, training. Don't click this, don't click this, don't click that. And the latest numbers show over just the past 5 years, the amount of crypto seized. So this is how much money the FBI actually found after hearing from victims.
Okay,
grew 10 times.
Oh.
In 2021, it was about $238 million. It's now over $2.5 billion they seized in 2025.
That's a lot of money.
$2.5 billion. And it sounds like a lot of money, but it is a drop in the bucket compared to what was taken.
Oh, because crypto's so hard to track down, you can't always get back what was taken, correct?
Sure. Yeah, we interviewed the FBI about why crypto has become the currency of choice amongst, these criminals. And it's because unlike we've heard, even back in the day, you heard about, some of these companies have money in offshore accounts.
Yes.
Well, you know why they did that is because the FBI doesn't have an agreement with them that the FBI could call them and say, hey, we suspect a crime's happened here. Can you freeze that account for us? Crypto acts in the same way. There are a lot of blockchains that the federal government doesn't have agreements with that the FBI can't call and say, hey, we have a romance scam or an investment scam. We think there's money from 1 or 100 people moving through this account. We need you to freeze it so we can seize the assets. There are a lot of those blockchains they can't request that from. And the crooks know it. And that way you click one button, you send 20,000 more. I mean, we have federal cases here where we have a local guy who lost $2 million.
Oh, gosh.
$2 million in a romance/investment scam. Started as someone acting, like a woman who's interested.
Okay.
And turned out that, look how much money I'm making. And he ended up, quote unquote, investing $2 million. By the time he started seeing returns, what he thought were returns, tried to take it out, couldn't do it. Oh, if you want to take this money out, there are penalties. And the penalties were excessive. They weren't real penalties. That money was gone. And so it is unbelievable. So the FBI, they do the best they can. I want to say the total was closer to $63 billion in cybercrime was reported to the FBI's
And that's reported.
computer crime unit. So $63 million, they seized $63 billion. They seized $2.5 billion. That's a lot of money that's still gone.
Yes.
Yes.
And again, keyword reported as well. Let's talk about a little bit how complex these scams are, because when you're talking about that man, the local man who lost $2 million, to keep the narrative going even after the action, to string them along, also gives the crooks more time to run away and to cover their tracks and do things. How complex are scams getting these days? Yeah,
well, it's multi-layered, and on the surface, it's not complex. Okay. It's nothing more than we hear about people who prey on children or whatever. It's grooming. They go after the vulnerable. We're talking about the lonely, the elderly. It's about creating a relationship, and they cultivate that relationship over time. And then comes the question, hey, have you ever thought about investing in this? Because that's what I do, and look what I do. And so it starts at a very human level, and they know what they're doing. The thing that's made it trickier is, if you get an email from somebody that says, hey, you owe us money for something, 9 times out of 10, you can go up and look at the web address or the email address and know that that didn't come from anything legitimate. The email address has nothing to do with a bank or a government agency or the IRS or anything.
Yes.
But these high-tech crooks, high-tech,
Mm-hmm.
guess who's really good at AI? These
Crooks.
guys.
Yes.
And so they will create websites, links, documents, charts that look like they're right out of the boardroom from some, company like Bitcoin, some legitimate Rakuten. I mean, some legitimate type company that does this stuff. And they will, because they don't care about copyrighting anything. I mean, what's the, they snag someone's logo, who cares? They don't.
No, they don't.
They're probably not even in the country.
They have a
Well,
totally.
they're most likely not even in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have the ability to create more in-depth, more convincing presentations. And like I mentioned with the local guy that lost that money, he's getting what he thought looked like were reports like stock dividend reports.
Yeah.
Where, oh boy, look how much I'm growing. Look how much so the problem is once that money's in, you're not getting it back.
Well, thank you for informing the public on this. And, as a caregiver myself and to other caregivers taking care of elderly parents, again, the vulnerable, what are the types of demographics? What are the demographics scammers are looking for? And when they are searching for, okay, who can I scam? Obviously, the elderly, the lonely, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other specific demographics?
No, the key, I think the bigger key really is elderly,
Mm-hmm.
because more than likely the elderly are going to have some sort of financial stability and the ability to invest. Mm-hmm. They're not targeting, a 20-year-old unless that's, the 20-year-old who invented Facebook years ago. They're going after people who they think have money. And, most of the time that's the elderly based on the information from IC3. Yeah, and so the bottom line is pay attention to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Don't give money to someone online that you've never met in person. Mm-hmm. Even if you agree, well, can we have a FaceTime chat? Well, you know who can manipulate FaceTime chats or Zoom calls? AI can also do that.
These guys, yeah.
They can pretend they're someone else. They can look official. They can talk official. Don't trust it. The golden rule when talking to the FBI is it's the oldest, cliche in the book. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a couple more questions,
Yep.
and then we're going to wrap up here as well. So let's talk about someone that is older. They're fitting a specific demographic. They get scammed. What should they do next?
The first thing you should do, the first thing is to make sure your red flag goes up before you hit send on any money. That would be ideal. Mm-hmm. But the second that you suspect that something's gone wrong, even if your money's gone, there's still a chance. And just like any crime, time matters, especially with the speed that crypto can move. Now, online transactions mm-hmm. are going to move a lot faster, especially because the websites you're using are also fraudulent. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a lot harder to track. But we've heard even with similar type things, Bitcoin scams where a criminal asks someone to go down to a Bitcoin ATM that you can see in convenience stores even these days.
Exactly.
Go down and deposit X amount of dollars to convert into Bitcoins at this ATM, and they'll go to that ATM and do it. That's much easier to seize. So in that case, you don't want to call your local law enforcement, because if they can get down there, they can take that machine.
They have the resources.
They can take that machine, and that mm-hmm. money, at least that transaction, the proof of that transaction and where it went is still there. So you have a much, much better chance of doing that. But the key with anything is timeliness. Mm. And make sure if you're communicating with these people, don't delete anything.
Okay.
Don't delete your old chats or whatever. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're keeping all of that stuff, because everything they say or do could be one little clue that could help them track down your money.
Absolutely, absolutely. Remember, guys, stay calm, cool, collected. Don't freak out, but make those necessary things. Call the police, call your bank, and use the resources that are available to you. Am I correct?
Yep.
All right, see, there we go. And one last thing to wrap up. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about today that's going to be in this reporting?
No, we'll look at some of the most common types of scams that people fall victim for, especially in North Carolina, because they're all over the place. And with those statistics, we'll get back into some of the other things that we've heard about for years, the phishing schemes, the smishing schemes, where you're clicking on links, which can be just as devastating,
Yes.
because that way they'll, if you click on the wrong link and there's something built into that, some sort of malware, you're essentially giving someone access to your funds instead of you giving them access to your funds,
Absolutely.
if that makes sense. So we'll look at some of that, but the bottom line is, don't give money to someone you don't know online.
Absolutely. You know what? This kind of reminds me of a story talking to one of our software engineers here at WRAL about the devastation of malware and ransomware. And the key thing is, okay, let's make this physical instead of digital. Someone breaks into your house and you don't know what's taken until you search every single aspect of your house. That's what's going to happen on these phone devices as well. If you get malware or ransomware on your laptop, you don't know what's hidden in there. But once it's in there, and you got to talk to a professional to get it cleaned out. So
and that's this day and age. I mean, really, what you talked about, that's a scary thing, especially with AI.
Yes.
Is, we are told to be more careful about what we post on social when it comes to pictures, when it comes to personal information, because that's information that these crooks will use. If someone hacks your phone, think about how much information they have about you that they could recreate you 1,000 times, and you would have no clue until it was too late.
No clue at all. Well, thank you so much for warning the people, informing the public. Where can people find this report once it's posted?
Thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. It's a daily email with Triangle news, events, and headlines to help you get ready for the day. You can sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.